usually in machine learning and AI, the toughest part is formulating the problem correctly. Once you formulate the problem, if you have a proper target in a data set.
Can you just give us an example?
Sure.
By
So,
formulating it correctly.
Right, so there's a paper that came out calling Learning to Learn. What that meant was you have a model, you shove data in, you show the outputs, it learns to predict stock prices, or it learns to predict who's going to switch carriers, right? Learning to Learn is you have another model here that watches how this model learns and learns how to tune this model, and that's called Learning to Learn. And when I saw that, I thought, is that really what the person was doing? And my thought was no, because if that were true, then as a data scientist, every time you went into a project, you would be doing Learning to Learn. That means you'd be doing the same things. But I noticed that every time I did this Learning to Learn manually, I was better at it and I was faster at it, which means I was learning to learn to learn. So if you can learn to learn to learn, you can train a machine to learn to learn to learn. And it sounds very complicated, it starts sounding like, is that general AI? No. You can simplify by saying, what is the target? And that's what I mean by formulating the problem. When I'm becoming a better data scientist, what is my brain solving for? That is the problem formulation. And what do I think my brain is processing in order to solve for that target? So what features am I looking at as a data scientist? So the features could be, I'm looking at the performance of the model. I'm looking at the graphs of the data set statistics to just understand the data better. So these are all parts of the problem formulation, is understanding the inputs and the outputs. And a lot of times the outputs are obvious. It's like predicting churn. You have that data. Sometimes that's when it gets complicated, is when the output is not obvious. But that's what I mean by formulating the problem.